Ladies and gentlemen, my lieges, come this way. We will make our way into the basement.
Well, what we're doing today, we're actually launching the tourism area plan for the Fermanagh Lakelands, which will basically be our vision for tourism between now up until 2020. But we wanted to do just something a little bit different than just a launch of another plan. So because we're talking about tourism and the future of tourism and how we can develop tourism in Fermanagh, we thought it was very opportune to invite the Fermanagh trade to come out and actually showcase what they have to offer. And what we are hoping is that a lot of the attractions and people that are exhibiting will maybe even get talking to each other for the first time. They'll maybe be able to see how they can work together, and it's all for the good of tourism in the future.
Fermanagh is an absolutely amazing place. It's absolutely beautiful, and it's noted for its lakes and its picturesque scenery and the heritage attractions and offers that we have. But there's lots of other places. You know, the world is a big place, there's a lot of choice out there. So what are we going to do differently that bring people here? Because in Fermanagh, no matter how big we are, we're still quite small operators in our own right. So coming together, making those connections, creating those packages, getting to the point where we're giving visitors a really seamless experience, I think that's key.
I work at Bleak Pottery, but we know that, for example, Marble Arch Caves and National Trust properties would attract a lot of different visitors. So we sort of wondered, how can we get the visitors coming to Florencecourt, to Bleak, and from Bleak to Marble Arch, etc., etc. So we decided to set up this forum and see how we could work together. And it's a case of, we have maps up in the different properties. So when they're in Bleak, the map there says you are here, and your next destination, the closest one to us, is Marble Arch or Enniskillen Castle.
I noticed a scratch on her thigh and asked her how she came by it. Picking gooseberries, she said. I said I thought it was hopeless and no good going on, and she agreed, without opening her eyes. I asked her to look at me, and after a few moments she did, but the eyes just slits because of the glare.
At Orchard Acre Farm, we have been cooperating with our fellow tourism providers. Because we're an activity centre and we don't have accommodation on the farm, we've had to work in partnership with our local B&Bs and hotels. So I would tell them what's happening and use the what's on. So it's that networking which has been our benefit and our survival, and now our growth.
He seized the thing and he stabbed the picture with it. There was a cry heard and a crash. The cry was so horrible in its agony that the frightened servants woke and crept from their rooms.
When people come, for example, and stay in a hotel, they need to know, well, what else is there to see and do in the region? So there'll be a lot of accommodation providers here today who will be actually able to see in the one place what Fermanagh has to offer. So it'll be a great education exercise for the actual trade themselves.
Now what we are doing is we're looking at exploring further possibilities with activity providers and activity centres and the equestrian side of things and the shopping side of things. So I mean, we're all for making sure that people stay longer with us, of course, but stay longer and visit more and more places in Fermanagh.
I think it's so important, number one, is that we actually communicate so much to gain, I think, a great showcase like this.
It's most definitely the way forward, even through our suppliers. We're talking about getting a little chef club going, maybe once every 6 weeks or quarter to meet up.
So it's very, very important for us to talk as much as we can, really, you know. But yeah. We don't get much of that because we're too busy. A lot of it, we're working most of the time in our own places, but occasionally they let us out.
When businesses don't compete against each other, they work in tandem to each other, and certainly when they don't compete against each other here in Fermanagh, they are definitely competing against somebody in another country, in another area, and we want to see the people here working together to rise all boats, and certainly in Fermanagh that is a very apt saying.
We're hoping that they'll network. we're hoping that they'll collaborate with each other. We hope that they'll maybe get a few ideas of what they can do to market their premises and their product better, and hopefully only good can come from it in the future.